In the headlines, President Buhari charged new APC leader to leverage on numerical strength as Adamu Omishore, 75 others emerge. Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria says normalcy restored at Kaduna Airport after daring attack by bandits. Grinding machine operator resort to electricity due to high cost of diesel. And on the foreign scene, Kyiv accuses Russia of destroying fuel and food storage depots in Ukraine. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Martia Umar. And the news info. President Muhammadu Buhari has tasked the new national leadership of the All Progressives Congress APC to ensure effective utilization of the over 40 million registered members of the party as a strength to consolidate on its winning race. The president has speak at the just concluded National Convention of the party in Abuja, where he assured members that the party will be within its internal wranglings and will continue to emerge stronger. Trust TV's Shuaib Suleiman reports.
Adesanya today scored 791. This is also zonal election. It involves only 6 states. Iyabo Orokoso scored 21, and we have 9 invalid. So Adesanya scored the highest vote and is declared winner.
That was Jigawa State Governor and Chairman Electoral Committee of the All Progressives Congress APC National Convention announcing the result of some of the contests at the just concluded National Convention of the party. He earlier told the gathering of delegates and other party faithful that in line with President Buhari's preference for consensus as a strategy to guarantee a rancor-free exercise, a number of aspirants have voluntarily withdrawn from the contest, including that of the national chairman of the party, national secretary, amongst others.
The situation here is overwhelming in terms of the crowd. Security agencies were initially here. They barricaded this access, and of course, but because of the overwhelming nature of the crowd, they've broken the barricade and then overwhelmed the security agencies who had to leave, and they occupy here. As you can see, I'm sandwiched by some of the supporters, mostly from the southern Borno, who are here to canvass for the support for their candidates or aspirants who are here. It appears the security agencies are limited in terms of number. They've been overwhelmed at some point. They've been trying to create a barricade so that the supporters will not go into the venue, without being authorized to do so. But it appears, they cannot keep the, enforcement of the restriction, and they had to leave.
Speaking earlier at the convention, President Muhammadu Buhari, while acknowledging the successes recorded by the Memalabuni-led caretaker and extraordinary convention planning committee, described as monumental increase of over 30 million registered members of the party within 18 months from the 11 million it initially has, which he says must be effectively harnessed to sustain the party's winning streak.
We should learn how to resolve our differences without jeopardizing our personal relationships and the fate of the party. I want to thank the Progressive Governors Forum for heeding to my advice and suggestions in settling the leadership dispute. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me seize this opportunity to remind you of the importance of voter registration and education among our members. This is very necessary for us to justify our large numerical strength during elections.
Outgoing youth leader of the party, Ismail Ahmad, raised concerns over the ability for the party to continue to enjoy the massive support it used to get as President Muhammadu Buhari exits the stage by 2023, saying the party will now live to its true character and meaning. This concern was however allayed by the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan.
Now it is time again. The person who is responsible for bringing 10 million votes will no longer be on the ballot in 2023. This party will be judged by its own character.
You may not be on the ballot in 2023. And let me be explicit. You will not be on the ballot in 2023. But Mr. President, you will remain the leading light, the moral compass of APC even after your tenure.
The APC National Convention, which attracts an unprecedented crowd of supporters and party loyalists, will go well in history as one which has defied the naysayers who were initially skeptical about its holding. Its ability to utilize consensus as an effective tool to close ranks among members. Full of emotions, bickerings which almost set the party on the path of implosion. Shuaib Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And earlier we were joined by Trust TV's Shuaib Suleiman in the studio, and he gives us an insight for the APC convention. So it was a big of an activity yesterday. You know, people from all over Nigeria or even outside Nigeria were there. So let's get an insight of the convention, the consensus moves, if there are any resistance, and feelers from the convention, the APC convention.
Right, okay, thank you, Mardia. Just like you rightly put it, you know, it's one of the biggest gatherings, so to speak, you know, in recent times, a political gathering, because we're talking about a political party, you know, who claim to have over 41 million registered voters. And you could see that in display yesterday, because, you know, the entire Eagle Square, you know, was filled to capacity, and of course even those outside, you know, the venue, you could see, you know, the huge number of people, you know, that have attended that convention. It was a very serious, a challenging moment even for security personnel. I've seen some of them, you know, at some point, you know, had to just let go because they couldn't even control the crowd. Despite the number, there were heavy deployment of security personnel, but they were overwhelmed. You could see, you know, clearly. Some of them had to use all sort of, you know, methods to disperse the crowd, you know. But then there was it was a defying kind of crowd that, in spite of the fact that people are being, you know, there's some sort of stampede. People are brought down and some are even marched and what have you, but yet they are still making their way into the venue.
You're looking overwhelmed yourself. You look very tired.
It was really a very, very tedious, you know, exercise. At some point, I pitied my cameraman, you know, who almost got into the venue, but when he realized that, you know, that the security personnel, you know, pushed back, you know, the gate, he had to go back because they could also smash the camera and the equipment he is having. It was a very serious, I mean, very, very crowdy kind of situation that one has to be very, very careful, you know. I've seen dignitaries, you can imagine, you know, highly respected people that have been pushed to the ground because they are trying to make their way into the venue. So crowd control was a huge challenge. And of course, you should expect that when we're talking about, you know, such a gathering of, you know, delegates from across 36 states of the Federation. And this time around, we're talking about an extraordinary convention planning committee. You talked about, you know, people who participated even outside the shores of Nigeria. Exactly. People in diaspora also attended. Part of those, the participants and the stakeholders, you know, came from the outside Nigeria. Even artists. One of the artists came from South Africa. Wow. And so it was a very, very challenging moment for security personnel, for media practitioners, and everyone that has to do with the event. But thank God we managed to get there, do what we can, and then.
And that was Trust TV's Shuaib Suleiman there giving us an insight on the APC National Convention. And moving on to more stories, youths in the Niger Delta region have been advised to embrace the use of poetry as a tool for advocacy and agitations and making demands from government rather than militancy. An environmentalist and director of health of Mother Earth Foundation, HOMEF, Nemo Basi, gives the advice during training of Ogoni youths on the use of video documentary as a tool for advocacy held at the Ken Sarawiwa Memorial Park, Bandit community in Kana local government area of River State. The report.
Globally, the blowout of performance poetry has made it a growing art form that can be used to propagate and express thoughts on many issues in the society. An environmentalist and director of health of Mother Earth Foundation, Nemo Basi, said people must use language that can change the world and every situation around them. One of these is the use of poems, as poetry speaks truth to power and reveals corruption. Basi stressed the need for people to focus more on the use of motion and still graphics, written words, especially poetry and prose, in showcasing dangers of oil exploration. He added that it is a viable tool for non-violent agitation.
I believe campaigning with cultural tools, which is the bedrock of non-violent protest or campaigning, is the best method of all the methods. And we may still see that things are still going wrong, but things would have been worse if people were not conscious of the fact that they have to protect their culture, protect their environment, protect their life. Because when they promote their culture, they're promoting the conditions that will make them more productive citizens of their communities. And this is the best approach, and that's what we believe. And the focus today has been to get the young people to understand how poetry can be used for advocacy. It's part of what Ken Sarawiwa himself stood for. It stood for campaigns based on intellectual capacity development.
Basi also described the decreasing life expectancy of people living in the Niger Delta region, lamenting that it has fallen to 41 years. He noted that life expectancy in the region is on a downward slide because of implications of oil exploration, which pollutes the environment.
You know, the Niger Delta is one of the most polluted places on planet Earth. In fact, it's ranked amongst the top 10, one of the top 10 most polluted places. And here we have all the conditions that cut life short. The soil is contaminated, the water is contaminated, the air is contaminated. People just can't enjoy life. They can't. The Niger Delta people cannot live to the full extent that nature and God has blessed them to live because of this contamination. Because both oil spills, gas flares, soot and so on, they cause cancers, they cause breathing diseases like bronchitis, like asthma, blood disorders, they cause kidney failure, they cause lung cancer, they cause birth defects. Children are born with all kinds of defects. So everything about our environment is actually against the interests of our people. This is why it's very urgent for young people to be conscious of this fact, so that they can force conditions that would allow them live a better life than what the condition right now is presenting to them.
The youth opine those cultural expressions such as music and poetry are powerful sources of strength in moments of crisis. According to them, they can be a ray of light in the darkness. According to them, they can be a ray of light in the darkness, helping to increase the resilience of people when their rights are violated.
The Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria (FAN) has confirmed the killing of a staff during the Saturday's bandit attack at the Kaduna Airport. FAN, in a statement on Twitter, said a group of bandits attacked the runway 5 axis but were repelled by security forces, while normalcy has been restored at the airport. The airport manager, Amina Salami, had earlier confirmed the attack, saying bandits invaded the airport through the perimeter fence from a nearby forest at about 1 p.m. and a security guard patrolling the runway shot by the bandits before soldiers, attracted by the sound of gunshots, responded and also recovered 2 motorbikes abandoned by the bandits. The attack delayed the takeoff of a Lagos-bound flight. point-of-sale POS operator and 2 other residents are hospitalized following an explosion by suspected impoverished explosive device that rocked the Danmani community near Rigasa in the Gabi local government area of Kaduna State. The Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arowan, confirmed the incident on Saturday in a statement. He said investigations revealed that the incident happened close to a POS operator shop near Abubakar Sadiq Mosque. According to security reports, the IED was found close to a motorcycle belonging to a POS operator in the community. Meanwhile, the explosion injured the POS operator and 2 others receiving treatment at the hospital. Report also said that a team of anti-bomb squad arrived at the scene and detonated another explosive. And the police in Zamfara State have arrested 10 suspects for various offences, including one of the commanders of the notorious bandits kingpin Bello Turji. Recovered 2 AK-47 rifles and 1 motorcycle. Police Command Public Relations Officer Superintendent Mohammed Shehu said police tactical team acted on credible intelligence, which led to the successes recorded in the fight against banditry in the state. The report.
The Public Relations Officer of the Zamfara State Command, Superintendent Mohammed Shehu, who addressed newsmen on behalf of the Commissioner CP Ayuba Elkanah, explained that police operatives attached to 42 Police Mobile Force PMF Gusau on anti-banditry operation at Safe received distress calls that large numbers of bandits were sighted heading towards Korenganua village in the Safe local government area of the state with the intent to attack the community.
We have the prime suspect, Rilwan Ahmed, from Karamamoda. We have other 2 suspects who are now at large. They committed the crime together at the same time, but Zeran was a fled while the police succeeded in arresting Rilwan Ahmed and the recovery of the said motorcycle. On 23rd March 2022 at about 21:00 hours, the suspect, Rilwan Ahmed, conspired with his partners in crime, now at large, and hired Okada rider, one Adamobello of Rawiya village in Gusau LGA.
According to the police operatives on anti-banditry patrol on the 20th March 2022 at Gwashi area of Bukuyum local government area of the state, intercepted a notorious bandit named Lawali Ruguduma of Basari local government area of Katsina state. The police said he had confessed that they were the ones terrorizing residents of Katsina, Sokoto and Zamfara states.
The achievement comprised the arrest of 10 suspects, including a commander to one of the notorious bandits kingpin, known as Bello Turji. Recovery of 2 AK-47 rifles during encounter with bandits in Sabi axis. Recovery of 1 motorcycle and unconditional rescue of a 60-year-old female kidnapped victim. The achievement being showcased today is part of our belief, confidence, and trust that we have for our indefatigable Inspector General of Police, IGP Alkali Usman Baba, PSC Daga, NPM, FDC, in his untiring effort to improve the general welfare of police personnel nationwide.
The police told journalists that the 10 suspects are currently undergoing discreet investigations and will be charged to court for prosecution thereafter.
You're still watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at how a man is motivated to trek from Gombe to Lagos State. Do stay with us. You're watching Trust TV News Update. Before we continue, let's take a look at our top stories. We told you that President Muhammadu Buhari has tasked the new national leadership of the All Progressives Congress APC to ensure effective utilization of the over 40 million registered members of the party as a strength to consolidate on its winning ways. And the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria has confirmed the killing of a staff during the Saturday's bandit attack at the Kaduna Airport, adding that normalcy has been restored. And moving on to other stories, Center for Environmental Sustainability and Development Awareness has called on the public to desist from open defecation for better hygiene. The sensitization campaign is to create awareness on the dangers of open defecation across the Federal Capital Territory. Trust TV's Sagir Ibrahim has more details.
The Center for Environmental Sustainability and Development Awareness has continued with its sensitization campaign across the Federal Capital Territory. According to the Executive Director of the Center, Olushola Babalola, he explains that the need for awareness on the dangers of open defecation, water, sanitation and hygiene cannot be overemphasized, as markets and motor parks remain the most vulnerable spots for the menace.
The whole essence of coming here today is to clean up, which we have done, and the second prong approach is to sensitize ourselves. And as we are here today, you can be rest assured, that we have some communication materials with us. So we have posters that speak, to some of this issue, that we are going to be discussing here today. We have handbills, that educate us on how, to live in a clean environment, on how to embark on good hygiene practices, so that at the end of the day, we can prevent ourselves from unnecessary diseases.
Others present spoke on the need for the involvement of more stakeholders in the process.
You have a lot of role to play, because the thing is that they only believe that good, bad, ugly is only happening within the environment where you have the park. And the thing is that you have to really engage your people and other stakeholders, because it says that now they've brought opportunity for you to let you know that the issue of environment is all about all stakeholder involvement. So I'm appealing to the sector to ensure that we really do much in engaging more people, so we can able to have a good environment, because it's only when you have a good environment you can able to be proud of the business that you are doing.
This was also followed by a brief presentation on the need to stop open defecation, which is a major cause of cholera.
When you practice open defecation around within your environment, it affects the water, especially during rainy season, because rain it strips into the water, and oftentimes you see people around the rural area, they go to the riverside to use the water to cook or to bathe, and which is not good because the water is already contaminated. So in terms of food, whatever you do, you try to wash your hands regularly to avoid cholera or diseases.
Everything we are talking about here, toilet is very, very important, in the sense that if we don't have toilet facilities, or we don't keep good toilet, there's bound, for some of these diseases, to occur, because the whole essence of kicking against open defecation is simply because we are saying that as people, we need to have toilet facility.
The exercise commenced with the sanitation of the Life Camp Motor Park, followed by the distribution of sensitization materials to motorists and business people around the park. The Life Camp Motor Park is the second public facility visited by the center, which intends to visit as many public facilities as possible to carry the message of proper water sanitation and hygiene practices. Sagir Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
A 29-year-old young man in Gombe State, Aminu Abdulmumin, says he's embarking on the journey from Gombe to Lagos on foot to show solidarity to a presidential aspiration of the All Progressives Congress APC chieftain, Bola Tinubu. Abdulmumin said he's trekking from the Jewel State to Lagos in the next 10 days. Ibrahim Ismail has more.
Aminu Abdulmumini is a strong supporter of the presidential aspirant of the All Progressives Congress APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He embarked on a trek from Gombe to Lagos to show solidarity to the former governor of Lagos State, in his presidential ambition.
The reason behind this trekking from Gombe to Lagos is purposely to show my support on the Great Jagaban, to show my support on the Great Jagaban movement. Yes, because we as people from North or Nigeria at large, we are supporting him 100%. So I want to go and meet Jagaban to show him that we are supporting him 100%. So I have many reasons to select Jagaban, but the first one is Jagaban. Yes, ago I see how he promote Lagos State to a standard living city in Africa, not in Nigeria, in Africa. So I have to select Jagaban as my president, as my next president, to make Nigeria a standard country in the world.
Okay, assuming Jagaban is with you, he is listening. What can you tell him now?
If Jagaban is here, he is listening, my face is okay for him to know what I am there to tell him.
Okay, now Aminu has a target of his arrival to Lagos.
From now to 10 days or even less than 10 days, I will able to reach Lagos, inshallah, by God's grace. If I start the journey from Gombe, right now, I will sleep in Bauchi. From Bauchi, I will head to Jos. Maybe I will able to sleep in Jos or after Jos next tomorrow. But today, my destination is Bauchi State, inshallah.
This is not the first time a Nigerian will be trekking to cover hundreds of kilometers from a state to another to show solidarity to a politician. In 2015, a Nigerian trekked from Lagos to Abuja to show his solidarity to President Muhammadu Buhari. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
And on the international scene, an advisor to the Ukraine's Interior Ministry says Russia has started destroying Ukraine's fuel and food storage depot and bringing troops on rotation to the country's shared border. And the military command said Russian forces are grouping together in southwest of the capital. And that brings us to the news update at this hour. For more updates, please follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for watching.